In this video, I'm going to try and show you how to set up Serif Page Plus X6 so that you can start your CasArt leaflet. So once you've opened Serif, this should be your starting page. You're going to start a new publication, and then you're going to choose the type of publication that best suits the layout that you're doing. If you're doing something even more complicated, you're probably going to choose landscape in A4 and just start it from scratch. But if you're choosing one of the default ones, you could maybe go into the folded, and this is what I'm going to show you just now. So if I click on folded and then I scroll the bar down to near the bottom, we've got some of the main options that probably you've designed. So we've got the type here where you've got the one large page in the middle with the two on the outside that come in and meet in the middle part of the page. We've got the trifold where you've got 3 equal pages of 99, and you've got the Z fold one. So I'm going to go with the sort of side trifold menu, which I'm going to click on and say OK. So what appears in my page at the moment is a single panel. If I actually go to my page over at the side here and I click on pages, I can see I've got a front page, an inside leaf, which is the inside of the back of this one, this page here, and you've then got the back, which is the back of this one here. Now the one that I'm going to be concentrating during this video is the inside, so I'm going to double click on this panel here and I get the inside pages. So this is probably what you have done your visual for, and this will be a starting point. You will go ahead and do the front cover, the inside leaf and the back, but I'm really just going to concentrate on the inside and how to get started on it for you today. So the first thing you'll notice is these blue lines have appeared. Now these are the margin guides, so don't worry about them because we're going to print this in A3 paper. These won't affect our printing. So first thing we're going to do is get rid of them. So to get rid of them, you go into the publication setup, you click on margins, and you change all the margin guides to be 0. So once we've done that, we click OK, and you'll find that they've now gone. So these are the 3 panels for my leaflet on the inside. The next thing I'm going to do is set up the options. Now, at the moment, the ruler up the top is in centimetres and the ruler down the sides in centimetres. You've probably set up all your dimensions on your visual as in millimetres. So the next thing I'm going to do is change this. So I'm going to go into the options tab, and in here, I'm going to open up, it may be like this, I'm going to open up the layout, open up rulers, and change the units from centimetres to millimetres, and OK. And what you'll notice is along the top is now in millimetres. It just makes it much easier for adding your rule guides. So I'm going to concentrate on this left panel here by putting a bit into it. I'm going to put a wee heading into it. I'm going to put maybe a footer into it. I'm going to put a main text box, maybe even 2 columns, and some images using some text wrap, etc. Just to show you some of the features that you can do in Page Plus and how to set them up. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up my ruler guides, and I'm going to use this to help me put in some guides that I can snap to and make sure things are really aligned accurately. So the first one I'm going to do is my vertical one. So that's the lines which are going to go vertically straight up and down. Now I don't want my text to be right up against the edge, so I'm going to start my text 5 millimeters in from the edge. So the first one is going to be 5, and I'm going to say add. Now it won't appear until you've added all of them and then you click OK. Or if I click OK at the moment, you'll see it appears just now, but I have to go back into ruler guides to add more of them. So the next one I'm going to add is 5 millimeters short of the edge of the page. So I know the edge of the page there is 99, so the next one is going to be 94. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is put in some horizontal ones. So these are going to be for putting in my little heading up here, putting in my footer, and different things. So I'm just going to start off again. I'll add my 0, I'll add a 5 millimeter one, I'll add one which is 20 millimeters down. Remember that all these totals are cumulative, so it starts as 0 up here. So the first one 5 will be here, the next one 20 will be here, the next one which I'm going to do is 195, and then I'll do a 205, and then the bottom of the page is 210. And if I say add and OK, now what I've got is on this page you can see some of the features where I'm going to put in my heading up here. I'm going to put a footer in down here, and then I've got a space in here to work. Now I could subdivide this space even more by putting in more horizontal lines, but for this benefit of this video, I'm just going to keep it simple at the moment. So this little bit up here works out perfect. I can now go to my rectangular tool and I can click and snap really easily to that. Add a little bit of colour. I'm going to make that black because I'm going to try and use CasArt's black and white. I'm then going to put some text on top of that saying CasArt, so I use artistic text. I'm going to do it half on, half off just now because I'm going to make it white. And I'm going to say CasArt. And then what I'm going to do is move it into place, and I can embolden it and I can stretch it out, maybe to fill up the page a bit better, something like that. So there's me, got my little heading. Now very quickly I've been able to put that in, snap it to the edges, add colour, everything's looking pretty good. So I could do the same to the bottom. This time I'm going to maybe use a red. I'm going to use maybe an accent colour of red. So this time I'll put in a block and I'll make it red. And again, I'll put in some text, artistic text, and I'll just put in some gobbledygook there. Okay, so do that again, artistic text, and then I'll just move it into place wherever I want it. You can stretch it, you can add more text, it really is up to you what you want to do with that. Okay, so the next part that I want to sort of show you is how to add in some images and how to add in some columns of text, and then also to add in some text wrapping. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some images. So images can be put in just by going to insert picture from file, but the way I tend to do it is by placing in a rectangular picture frame or a shaped picture frame. So I'm going to start with a rectangular picture frame, and I'm going to have a picture frame which is here to down here. I want it to be a specific size, so I'm going to come down to the transform tab and make sure that my size, I'm going to make it 40 by 40. In fact, let's make it 30 by 30. And that means that that is now a very specific size. Okay, so I'm just going to position it there. Now, if you wanted something a bit different, instead of being a square one, it only gives you a rectangular picture frame, but you can make any shape of picture frame. So for example, if I wanted it to be a circle, I could draw a circle, and again, I could resize that circle to make sure it's 30. Maybe I'll do 30 again. So I'll do 30 by 30, make sure it's a circle. I'll move it so that it's like so. Now, to turn this into a picture frame, you then right click, convert to shape, picture frame. And what it does is it creates a circular picture frame. Now you could do that with any shape at all. So any of the shapes within here, you could have this shape here. You can play around with the nodes at the side to get to be happy with whatever you wanted it to be. But again, you could then just do right click, convert to picture frame, and it would do the same thing. So you can actually turn anything into a picture frame. So what I'm just going to do is insert some images. So clicking on it, there's a little button down here, replace picture. You go to the folder where you've got your rendered images or your saved images, and you can insert them in. So I'm going to bring in this image here, this one here, and I'll bring it in. I can make it bigger within that picture frame. I can make it smaller. I can move it about within the picture frame just so that I'm happy with it. So that's me done the first one. At the moment, it doesn't have a border around it. So while I'm there, I'm just going to go up to line, and I'm going to give it a 2mm border around it. And again, color wise, you could maybe change that color, that line color, to be maybe something like red around it, so I've actually added a wee bit of detail there. Same thing for this one. Go in, choose your rendered image. Let's say I want it to be that one there. Open up. It's very, very small, so I'm just going to zoom it in a little, and then I'll move it about so that I can see it. And then same thing, go to line. I'm going to put a 2mm border around that, and I'm going to also make it red. Okay, So that's quite simply how to add in images. Now I could have had ruled guides here to show me exactly where they're taking place, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a standard text frame, and I'm going to put in a text frame which goes from there all the way down to here. So that I can see what it looks like, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say fill with placeholder text. And what it does is it puts in this lorem ipsum, which is just gobbledygook, but you can see what it'll look like. And you can see at the moment that my text goes through the images. So one of the things I'm going to have to do is set up text wrapping on this. I also think that it's maybe too big and that it's too wide a column. So over at the side, I can change it from one column to 2 columns to 3 columns. I think 2 maybe works out best with mine. Okay, so I'm just going to change it to 2 like that and leave it like that for just now. So next, what I'm going to do is try and text wrap around these 2 images. So it's quite difficult to select the image because the text wrap is the text frame is over the top. So I'm going to use my layers to choose my different bits. So if I choose my page there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to text wrap this. So when you want text wrap to work, you wrap around the image. So I've selected the image, I'm going up to text wrap, and I'm saying I want it tight, and I want the text to flow on the left hand side of it, and OK. And you can see there what happens is the text is now wrapping around that. I can do the same with the other one. So if I click on it, again, I can do text wrap, I can say tight, and I want to be left and OK. And you can see what happens is the text wraps around the outside edge. So this should give you a good starting point for including or creating your layout. I've done 1 panel, you obviously would do 3 panels, but then you would have to do your front cover, you'd have to do your inside leaf and your back panel. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of a start. The real main thing here is that I'm using the rule guides. The rule guides, I'm able to snap to them and I'm able to see exactly what's going on. If you don't want the rule guides to be on, up at the top here, this is your clean design button. If you click on it, they disappear and you see what it will look like without the rule guides. The rule guides obviously won't print out, so when you come to print it, they'll not be there. So if you want to turn off your design, you can see it. If when you add your rule guides, they don't appear, it could be that this has been deselected, so you have to click on it first. I hope this was helpful, and when I get back into school next week, hopefully it will be able to give you some help with this.